Come on, let's put our hands together for the Lord. As we welcome Reverend Ebasi.
Please be seated. I want to appreciate our Father in the house for giving us this opportunity to be part of this conference. I want to appreciate the leadership of the diocese. Thank you very much. Now, we are going to enter another dimension. We have been taught, a lot of teachings have taken place. I'm going to take a different dimension. Because the Bible makes us to understand that through prosperity, the cities of the Lord will be spread abroad. I'm going to look at how to start and sustain a business. That is why I am saying it's a different dimension. Because we need resources to fund the gospel. Everything you are seeing today, the instruments, the diesel, transportation, mention whatever you want to mention that has made this program a success, requires resources. And one area that is really lacking in the kingdom is how believers will also be part of those who are making money. Because if you have the money, you will support the gospel. Where you cannot reach, your money can push the gospel there. And that is why I want you to take these teachings very seriously. How to start and sustain a business. I want to start by saying that starting and sustaining a business requires planning, decision, and execution. I say starting a business and sustaining a business requires planning, decision, and execution. Now let's take planning. You need to sit down and plan the kind of business you want to do. What kind of business am I going into? Is it an area that you have interest? Is it something that you have been doing before? Or is this something that you know that you can do? So you need to sit down and take a decision and plan. Is it a barbering salon that you want to start as a business? Is it a hairdressing salon? Is it a restaurant? Is it a medicine store? Is it a fashion shop? What kind of business do you have in mind? Or do you intend to do? You have to decide. And when you have taken that decision, then you begin to sit down and look at what it takes to start that business. Take, for example, you have decided that you are going to run a fashion shop, a tailoring shop. That is what you have decided to do as a business. Now you need to also look at it, that what does it take to establish a fashion shop? You will need machines. If it is a standard one, you will need generator. You will need a shop. You will need materials to work with, like scissors, measuring tape and all that. When you have decided on the kind of business you want to do, then it is your duty to sit down and analyze the cost of the business. What will it cost me to establish this business? So if it is a tailoring shop, for example, you will need a machine. The machines that you want to use, is it industrial machines or is it ordinary sewing machines? You also need to decide which class of the tailoring business that you want to set up. If it is the one that will need industrial machines, then you have to cost the industrial machines. How many do you want? Maybe I will start with one. And if you are buying an industrial machine, you also need to know that you need a generator to support it. So you buy the industrial machines, you buy the generator, you buy whatever it takes. You may not be able to buy everything at the same time, but you need to know the cost. How much will it cost me to buy these things? And when you have known the cost, then you know how much it will take you to establish that business. When you have known how much it will cost you to establish the business, then if you have the money, you can decide to start the business. If you don't have the money, then you will now decide to look for the money before you start. And one other way to start is that all these things that you need to start the business, you may not buy them, all of them at the same time. You need to understand that. Like when I wanted to start my fashion shop, I know that I will use industrial machines. So I begin to buy them one by one. I will buy one and keep. Then when I have another money, I buy the second one until I was able to buy all the machines that I need. After I've bought some of the machines, it's not all, then I begin to look for shop. So you may not gather all this money at the same time. But when you have made up your mind that this is the kind of business you want to do, then you begin to buy these items one by one, especially those of them that may not expire, like machines will not expire. So you begin to buy them one by one. And when you have completed the set, maybe you pay for a store and then you start your business. All these ones are part of the planning and starting of the business. Now, when you have gotten the materials, the equipment, or you have decided or you have gotten the capital to start the business, then you need to also decide for yourself. The second thing you need to look at is that what kind of people am I going to render these services to? That is your customer base. Who are your customers? Most of the times people don't consider this part of the business, but it's a very important aspect of business. If you look at the way the Igbos are doing their business, you will understand that this aspect of who is your customer is very, very essential whenever you want to do business. Now, take for example, maybe you are selling, you want to sell food items, rice, beans, gari, and all that. Then your target audience are the women that are living in the communities. So if, for example, if you are in Amarata, you don't need to go and open your rice and bean shop along the express. All you need to do is to look at the communities. If it is Amarata, inside the Amarata community, Because that is where the women and the people that are going to buy your rice and beans, that is where they live. So that is your target audience. Now, if you go and open your rice and beans store along the express route, where most of the people are businessmen, it will be difficult for you to sell as if your shop is in the community where the people that are going to patronize you live. Now, another example is that, take for example, you want to establish a fast food restaurant where senior boys and senior men will go to eat. You don't need to take your restaurant to Azikoro village, because the people that will patronize you don't live there. That's what I'm talking about your target audience. You really need to look at it very well, so that you don't go and start your business in the wrong place. And if you don't get patronized, the next thing you will say is that the business is not working. Or maybe somebody is somewhere winching you, that is why the business is not growing. There are little things you need to understand, so that when you set up your business, the business people will patronize you and the business will flourish. So you need to decide, who are my target audience? Whom am I going to sell these things for? Take for example the tailoring business we are talking about. Now, if you want to sew for the poor, those who are just managing to live, the husband and wife and children that live in the village, in the community, then you don't need industrial machines. You don't need generator. All you need is a sewing machines, maybe one or two. And then you may not even need a shop. You can even start in your own house, because the people that will patronize you they don't bother. All they want is that when they bring their children clothes, you sew them. All they want is that you have sewn the clothes. So they don't really, they are not really asking you for class. So under that kind of an environment, you don't need to go and buy generator and industrial machines, because when you will charge for the cost of the machines and the cost of the fuel and everything. And these rural people, the poor, may not be able to afford to pay you the cost of generator and all that. So if you are establishing the fashion shop for the rural, for the poor, then you just start with your machines, the butterfly machines, the ones that you match, and then you charge them accordingly. That way you will always be getting your customers. You are starting at that level, so you tend your business also to suit your customers. But if you want to sew for the middle class and the high class, then you will need a shop, you will need industrial machines, you will need a generator, you will need a weaving machine, to ensure that, because these people are people that can afford to pay, but what they need, they also need quality service. So you don't go and take butterfly machine, the one you are mashing, you will be mashing, and then you want to sew for the middle class and the high class. If you arrange your business that way, it will not work. So you arrange your business, tailor the business in such a way that will suit the desires of your customers. That is why your customer is very, very important. That is your target audience. Now, when you have decided your target audience, and you have also decided the kind of services that you will render to suit your customers, your intended customers, the next thing you need to look at it is the location of your business. Very, very important. you locate your business in such a way that the services you are rendering should get to your customers, those whom you want to render the service to. So if you look at the fast food restaurants in this town, all of them are located along the major road. Why? They are targeting their customers, because their customer target is for the middle class and the high class. So those are the people who drive cars and move along the major road. So those are the kind of people that will patronize them. So they locate their businesses in such a way that the kind of customers that will patronize them will see the business and patronize the business. You will never see somebody who wants to establish a fast food restaurant and say he will go and locate it in Azikoro village or Swale. If you look at it, accommodation may be cheaper there. It may even be easier to set it up there, but they will not go there. The reason being that the people that are there will not be the kind of people that will buy fast food. Those are the kind of people that will cook food for themselves, or they will patronize Mama Put. Then you go and put your fast food business there. It will not work. So you look at a suitable location and ensure that you position your business shop in such a way that the customers that you are looking for will be able to have access to your business. So location is very, very important. Just like as I said, to re-emphasize that, if you are sewing for the poor, you don't need to go and put your sewing shop along the express, because they will not come there. That is not where they live. If you go inside Amarata, for example, you see small tailoring shops everywhere. What are they doing? They are serving their customers. There are people that are patronizing them. Most of them don't even have generators. Only very few that have generators. So they use their legs to march, and they sew for the people, and they charge them accordingly, because those are the people that will be able to patronize them. Now, if you go and buy industrial machines, weaving machines, and then you go and locate them inside the village as the location of your shop, you may not have customers. So you need to understand that the location of your business matters a lot. Now, if you have gotten the location, then the next thing, you have gotten the equipment, the next thing is to start the business. Now, when you are starting a business, you should understand that business grows like a child. Business is not something that you just start today and you start making profits. That is the mistake a lot of businessmen make. Because immediately you start and people are coming, you say, oh, I have made it. It's an error. It will take time for that business to grow. And therefore, you should be very, very careful not to put all your investment, especially if you don't have any other money, into that business, believing that as you start, the business will start giving you money and you start feeding on that business. You are making a big mistake. That is why it is necessary that you have a backup. That is why those who are retired that are having salary to support themselves are in a better position. Or you are still working and you are earning salary. It's better for you to start now that you are still earning salary. Because it will take time for the business to grow. Sometimes it will take you 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before that business will get to a point where it will be generating money for you. I started my fashion shop 2 years ago. Now by May next year it will be 2 years. And as I'm telling you, I'm still putting money in that business. The reason being that you want the business to run. So you are doing everything to make sure that you are serving your customers. So because like some months ago, the people that are coming to patronize, because my fashion shop is along the main road, so my target audience is the middle class and the senior class. And people are bringing their clothes to come and sew honorables. And maybe because the business is just starting, one honorable will just bring one cloth. And he will say, the first question he will ask you is that, which time I go come collect them? And because you want to ensure that you are serving them, you are meeting up their demands, you say next week or 1 week. And maybe throughout that 1 week, because the business is just starting, it's only that honorable that brought the clothes. And you have to sew to make sure that you meet your customers' specifications and demands. So you will buy fuel, you will pay the tailor, and then you will sew just that one cloth for that week. Now, if you continue like that, it will continue like that for a long time, because you are just starting and you don't have a customer base. You don't have a customer base. It takes time to build a customer base. That one person that comes, if you devote your effort and serve him very well, he will be the one to go and invite others. Say that place that they so well, oh, so make you go there. So one honorable will come, then he will go and bring his friends, and they will begin to come one by one. That initial stage, you may not have enough customers that will give you a turnover that you will make your profits. So throughout that period that the business is still growing, you need to support the business. If you are not supporting the business, you may not have something to eat out of that business, because everything you are generating may go back there, because you need to buy fuel, you need to pay your tailors, you need to pay light bill, there are other taxes that you need to pay. Environmental is there, sanitation is there, local government is there, a lot of things are involved. So that initial stage, when your customer base is still small, you need to support the business. So don't just think that as immediately you open, then the whole world will come and patronize you. It doesn't work like that. It will take time for you to build a customer base. When you have gotten enough customers, that is when the business will start to make profit. So please don't make that kind of a mistake. When you are establishing a business, have at the back of your mind that you will need to support that business for some time before the business will be able to stand. Now, when you have started the business, how do you sustain the business? That is the next aspect. Now, there is a model that the Jews use in running their businesses. We call it the Jewish culture of doing business. Now, the Jews have a kind of culture that they use in doing their business that has made them to excel in every area they establish their businesses. That is why the Jews are some of the most enterprising people in the world. Now, what kind of culture did they have? Now, the Jews have a culture of honesty, integrity, and fairness when they are doing their business. So if you are dealing with a Jewish man, if the Jewish man want to sell you gari, you know say na garri in dey sell for you. If he say na rubber, you are sure that it's na rubber. So they do their business with honesty, making sure that what they tell you is what you will get. So if you are selling clothes, for example, you have different classes of clothing materials. You should be able to explain to the customer, this is the cost of this one, this is the cost of the other one. So it's left for the customer to make his choice, whether he's going for the cheaper one or he's going for the expensive one. You don't take the cheap one and sell at the cost of the expensive one. If you do that, then you are not doing your business with honesty. Initially, you may be smart. You may get some few customers. They will fall in your hands if you are putting all manner of jara in doing your business. But at the end of the day, on the long run, people will come to know that you are a cheat, and they will begin to avoid you. If you look at certain filling stations in this town, people don't enter those filling stations anymore. But initially, when there were no filling stations in this town, those were the filling stations that people were patronizing. They were going there every day to buy because they were the only people selling. But when you go there, instead of giving you 5 liters, they will give you 3 liters. And by the time you drive and you see the gauge, you say, oh, it be like say these people don't play me, why you? Now when the competition begins to increase, when more filling stations begin to come, people begin to avoid those filling stations that we are not sincere and honest. And today, most of them are not selling. So on the long run, it affects your business. So you try and ensure that you imbibe the Jewish culture of honesty, integrity, and fairness. Fairness in the fact that if a Jewish man employs somebody to work for him, he will ensure that he pays the person fair wages. He will ensure that he treats the person with fairness. He treats the person with dignity. And if peradventure the person needs training, he will ensure that those people or that person is sent for training to acquire the required skill to enable them function well in the areas of their operation. So you found out that that culture has helped the Jewish people to excel wherever they go when they are doing business. So whenever you are doing your business, try and ensure that you imbibe this culture. It will help to sustain your business. It will help to keep your business going. It's very, very important. Another example to buttress this point is that before this time, when we just came to Inagua after the creation of the state, you found that every person that wants to do business goes to Aba. They will go there to buy their things. So early morning, everywhere, all the parks were Aba. But when you go to Aba and you buy something, they will give you one fake one for the price of the original one. If peradventure you forget something and you go back, they will say, we don't see them. So they were doing their business with some level of cheating and all that. And gradually, now a lot of people don't go to Aba anymore. People are now going to Lagos and Onitsha. And if you use that pattern to run your business, on the long run, it will affect your business. So if you really want your business to be sustained, you need to understand that one, it takes time for a business to be established, to fully come on ground and start making profit. Two, you need to run your business with honesty, integrity, and fairness. Now, few things that you need to avoid. One, avoid planning without taking decision. A lot of people will plan. So throughout 4 years, 5 years, you are still planning. However, at the back of your mind, have the understanding that there is no time that everything will be perfect. So start now and work towards, as you are doing the business, you are gaining experience, you are adjusting your mistakes, and at a time you will get there. If you don't have all the money, begin to buy your equipments one by one. So don't plan without taking decision. Then the last one is that don't assume that immediately you start, you will start making profit. Praise the Lord. Now, if you have any questions, you can submit your questions, and then we look at them, and then maybe we'll give some answers to the questions.